Migrants coming into New York State from the southern border has been a controversial topic recently, especially post-Title 42.
Erie County may be welcoming an unknown number of asylum seekers in upcoming weeks. To talk about the process these asylum seekers will have to go through, we're joined by Jennifer Rizzo-Choi, the executive director of the International Institute of Buffalo. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so before we get into sort of some of the details or what we know at this point, I want to talk about, because I think a lot of people are really confused about who these folks are. Where do they come from? What's their status? That kind of thing. So you are probably among the best people to speak about this. Who are we talking about? The potential people coming to New York City and the potential of people coming up here. Who are these folks?
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say they're people and they're in need of safety. And so at the end, that really is all that matters. But under our system and immigration law, how you enter and what status you're given does impact, what you're able to do here, whether you're allowed to work or not. So the Institute, I think, is pretty well known for resettling refugees. Those are people who fled their homeland and went to a foreign country and then went through like a United Nations process to get here. And so they walk in with a legal status of refugee, and they're allowed to work and they can get government benefits. The folks that we've seen crossing at the southern border that are often referred to as migrants are people who showed up on our soil and are now saying, a lot of them, I can't go home, I've been persecuted, and so they're seeking asylum. So they're asylum seekers, and they have to go through that process to be awarded a status to stay. And so in this instance, they don't have work permission, at least initially, and they're not eligible for government benefits.
And that clears up a lot of confusion because a lot of people have been using those terms interchangeably. What do you think of our current immigration system, the border policies in place right now?
It's broken, and that's really why we're seeing all of this bottleneck and crisis. I mean, nothing has really been revised in 20, 30 years. The New York Times had a great article on it recently that went through like 20 years worth of failed attempts to change immigration law. Really what we're operating on is a system that was based on like a 1980s, 1990s economy. And labor and our economy are very much tied together, and some of that labor is the immigration workforce that's coming in. So it is broken, and you're seeing bottlenecks, and our asylum system is broken because you can apply for asylum and you could wait 3 to 5 years to get an answer. That's just not practical.
What do you say to folks who may be concerned about seeing an influx of migrants or asylum seekers in our communities because they are fearful of further stressing out an already stressed out system of social services and so on and so forth? What do you say to that? Because it seems like those services are available for a reason, and now we have a reason.
I would say that Buffalo is a welcoming city and community, and our county executive and our mayor have all echoed that. And so at the end of the day, people are people, and we for a century have been welcoming immigrants who were fleeing something. So I would say let's all take a beat and remember that, and then let's work together to try to address it. Part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you is I want to just continue to pull attention to this, and that if people come here, I hope that the state and the county and the federal government will step up and help, so that way people, as they go through this process, can get support. Eventually, people can apply for work permission. That's on the horizon. But, people in immediate need need to be supported and not negatively looked at.
Well, we heard State Senator Tim Kennedy earlier in the broadcast talk about the fact that he is going to be urging the federal government to move quickly and expedite these things. I see you smiling here. I know that is a valiant request by State Senator Tim Kennedy, but do we really think that it's going to move the needle? Because it doesn't seem like that's something that will be done.
I appreciate that he's doing that, and I appreciate our local delegation that always advocates on this. I don't see action on Congress in this. It hasn't happened in some time. And I mean, I know that we're talking about people coming here, and what is that number going to be? Well, look at the southern border. Over 1 million people crossed last year. That's a huge number, and we still see inaction in Congress. So something needs to be done, but until then, you're going to see communities like ours try to pivot and figure out how to process and handle.
All right, wonderful. That is unfortunately all the time we have this afternoon. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
course. Very important.